What is up? What is up? Not sure if we're live. Just let me chickadee check. Probably need to stop doing that. Anywho, I've got so many things on dark mode. When I want to light for my video properly, trying to use my screen, but everything's on dark mode. Hold up. Alright. I think I might just have to make do with what I have going here. I don't like the shadows in the background. It's going to distract me, so I thought I'll get those out of the way. But yeah, today I wanted to do a quick little video about being alone. This is a bit of an overdue video in my opinion. The reason why I wanted to talk about this in particular now is due to certain experiences that I'm going through myself, which I'm noticing that the more time that you spend alone in a more positive aspect, not in the aspect of isolating yourself or trying to separate yourself from the outside world, but in a sense of being alone so that you can build up your own self mentally and physically, whether that's through accumulating a mental ability or developing a physical skill in this reality. But either way, when you do tend to go alone, I notice the most benefits that you get out of life. And when you tend to go out too much, or when you tend to be around people who don't match your energy of how you want to perceive yourself or your life, like the kind of things that you would do when you are alone, then the more situations that you start to experience of you experiencing like blockages or setbacks or whatever the case may be. But there's like usually just something. It's like almost as though the more time that you spend alone trying to work on that energy, that's the more time that you start to create this like reality of yourself, like the things that you want to do, like your individuality, your individual expression. And then the more time you spend with other people, it's like you're helping to create their reality, because we're all exchanging energy at the end of the day, like from one person to another. So when you walk up to people and so on and so forth, you talk to them, you spend time with them, you pay attention to them, like you're literally exchanging energy together. So when you look at it from that aspect, you understand that we're all creating something new as well when we interact. It's like each one teach one concept. So when you start to see things in that way, you realize that the more time that you tend to spend with certain people, like the more situations that you start to accumulate that's related or similar to those people that you'd be spending time with. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword, because you may enjoy spending time with certain people, but at the same time, sometimes it's not the best thing for you at that point in time due to the circumstances and the situations that might come to be due to you exchanging energy with those individuals. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, you should cut off people and like blah, 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 all that shit. Because at the end of the day, like, it's just about like focusing on your individuality. Whether that person is for you or not, they will like find their way to accept or join in on what you are doing when it comes to you focusing on your individuality, especially if you're doing it in the right way. You know, you're doing it in a positive way where you're just trying to build up your life, create something substantial and stable for yourself in terms of like you having an actual purpose or a goal in life, as opposed to like kind of just being directionless and falling into being alone because of your desires, because like you lack, or because you lack validation, or whatever the case may be. But all of those things are rooted in desires anyway. So honestly, when it comes to I've been kind of overthinking this video. If you can't tell, you might be able to tell, but I'm a little bit overthinking, so bear with me. We got what is it called? Mercury in Sagittarius at the moment, and that is Mercury does not like to be in Sagittarius, or Sagittarius doesn't like to be in Mercury, one way or the other. So, you know, it's a little bit how do I say, our thinking and communication, which is Mercury, is a little bit more can be a little bit scattered in a sense. But because we have the sun in Sagittarius, it will show in our actions, you know. So I guess that's a physical representation right now of me, because it's showing my thoughts and feelings, my thoughts and communication, sorry, and how my mentality is scattered, and it's expressing it through my sun, and also because my moon's in Sagittarius, so you know, it's like bringing the moon side of myself to the forefront. So, yeah, a little bit of astrology there for you. An example, a live example of astrology and how that plays out in like the miniature ways. So, when it comes to just the way that I'm thinking and stuff like that, and the way that I'm communicating, it's not as like on par with like how I would normally communicate in some of my other videos, but you can still see that I'm pretty like decent at it. But as well, because I've got a Gemini Mercury, which is the opposite to Sagittarius, so, and it's ruled, Gemini is ruled in Mercury, so it's kind of like opposing my Mercury at the moment, the Mercury as above in the constellations in the stars, mate. So yeah, it's kind of playing out for me as this whole situation that's going on that you see in front of me. Also, like, you know, a little bit toked out, joked out, smoked out. But yeah, other than that, we're good. Oh, I really need to redo this. But anyways, not while I'm doing the video, mate. It's me here. So yeah, when it comes to being alone, like, I don't know, it's just like life, all possibilities, no thing, or what some people will call God, but it's really all possibilities or no thing. And it's just spirits, us as spirits before we all became aware. Like, being spaces within space. I explain it in some of my other videos as well, but it's really just no thing or all possibilities. That's the closest thing you can put it to. But when it comes to you being alone, it's like all possibilities, just trying to show you, like all of us, to kind of focus on like knowing ourselves, doing our shadow work, working on like our purpose, our passion, something that we're passionate about, right? But in the most positive way. It's like a form of like selfishness almost, but in the most positive way, by showing love and appreciation to your own individuality. Shout out to I can't remember, there's a certain YouTuber that I watch, but I was gonna say Mooney Mercury, baby, it could be him, but either way, I saw that, I heard another YouTuber talking about something similar, like along the lines of what I just said, about it's like a way to be selfish, to love yourself and appreciate yourself by like taking care of yourself, doing your shadow work, aka working on your own emotions, doing the inner work, questioning your actions about why you do certain things, being aware of every instance of your mind and your actions in order for you to be able to perceive the whole, like look at the bigger picture, which is like pretty relevant to what we're going through with the Sagittarius Sun. It wants us to look at the bigger picture, at the more expanded energy of it. And that's why Sagittarius represents travel and expansion. And they also have the archer as the symbol, because Sagittarius is able to shoot up very, very far. And in Native American astrology, it's actually the owl. But I'm not Native American, so I'm not going to talk about somebody else's culture like that. Because I don't want to be like disrespectful or anything. But if you want to check that out, Dollar Pilot Man is probably the best bet. Or any other Native American people. I'm sure there's some other great Native American creators out there too. But Dollar Pilot Man, A1. So, A1 is not even as good as him. So yeah, anyways, when it comes to being alone, it's like all possibilities, life, like whatever you want to call it, the universe, no thing really shouldn't have a name, because it's nothing of this world, nothing of this world. So when it comes to this energy, this thing, not a thing, sorry, showing us these situations and these circumstances in our life of more peace, more positive energy, more prosperity, when we take that time to take care of ourselves and be selfish, focus on our inner work on our like mental health, for lack of a better term. Just working on our mind and building and constructing and carving out our mind to be a beautiful mentality that we can actually live in and spend our life in, that's not chaotic and making us feel like we hate ourselves and so on and so forth. And also just working on ourselves in a selfish way where we're working on our passions, our purpose. That just seems to breed the most kinds of positive circumstances, at least from my perspective. And, I'm open to other people in the comments as well. If anyone has something to say, or maybe they have a different opinion that goes against mine, or just adding on to the conversation as well, whatever you would like. I'm open to those comments as well if anyone wants to talk about them. So the comment section is open like that. But yeah, when it comes to my experiences, this is what I've seen and witnessed for myself. And when it comes to like people like coming out of being alone and being like kind of sharing yourself with the world, it like seems to be like more peaceful and more beneficial circumstances when you're like surrounding yourself with more like-minded people that are kind of into the same thing as you, or working towards a similar goal or purpose or passion as you. And it might not be even the same area per se, but like you have like a similar mentality or direction or way of seeing things and outlook and the way you react and perceive the world. So this is like showing that you guys kind of come from a similar space, especially if you're like tapped into your individuality more. So the more you do that, then you'll be able to connect more with people that actually benefit you and want to see you thrive and so on and so forth. And that's another sign as well. It's like the life just constantly is like kind of pointing us towards that direction of kind of being alone, but in a way where we're working on our individuality. We're working on our like passions and purpose. We're working on our mentality and our shadow work, doing the inner work and so on and so forth. So like definitely something to think about if you haven't kind of thought about this concept before, and you may want to kind of learn or get to know yourself, or you just want to connect to people that are more like-minded like you. Like how can you be like connected to like-minded people if you're not like your own mind? You're like kind of like you've got this fake mentality of what you've constructed from like maybe people you've met, shows you've watched, things you've watched, like whatever the case it might be. But they're not actually representations of how you want to be. It's more just representations of how you think the world is going to validate you to be, or something like that. So, you know, that's where like you've got to tap into your individuality and go into that cocoon and be more kind of alone to yourself. Even if you don't have a purpose or a passion, just sometimes taking that alone time to yourself to be like, oh, I like this and I don't like this. I want this and I don't want this. You know, like really taking a look at your life rather than getting like swept up into the distractions of life, or rather than getting swept up into like constantly like stimulating or being social type of person. You know, you're actually being like taking a step back to get to know yourself, your likes and dislikes. And that's like one of the first steps. Some people like have to start there, but some people might start later on because those parts might have come natural to them. But like we're all at our own ladder scale. So for me, like I remember starting like quite an early stage and being aware of those kind of things. Kind of like, how do I say? So like being aware of that concept of taking my alone time to get to know myself. Like I used to know that like taking alone time was beneficial. So I knew like that was important for me to do with myself and to have that alone time and so on and so forth. So like honestly, like the more I think about it as well, like I always had like the right mentality or way of seeing things, but in the past I tended to allow my mentality to get washed away by other mentalities. So it wasn't strong enough. It wasn't, it wasn't sturdy. It was a weak mentality at the end of the day. Otherwise I wouldn't have got washed away. So regardless, that's not really about me right now because we were talking about being alone. But yeah, being alone, like it just seems like a lot of things in life points you towards being alone in the most positive way, but not in a biased way or a negative way, where you just like kind of isolate and want to separate from the world for selfish reasons, for a desire, or because you're lost into something. It's because you want to be alone because you know that is the thing that actually seems to benefit you the most and like seems to breed more positive circumstances and seems to allow yourself to have more strength as well, have more of your individuality and your own clarity when you do come out from being alone, and then you're able to face certain circumstances as well, like as opposed to when you kind of get swept up into relationships and you allow those things to sort of distract you from your passion, your purpose, or distract you from doing your inner shadow work and so on and so forth. That's when things kind of start to crumble because you already got tangled into like a world of other people who may lack passion or purpose for you to even feel distracted by them. Because if they had more passion or purpose, then you would be encouraging each other and helping each other to grow and, you would push each other to do your passion and purpose, and it would be like a natural kind of flow. But just the fact that you have to get distracted from your passion or purpose, or you have to kind of reel back and stop the distraction, just that fact alone just shows you where that person's mentality is at and how it relates to your mentality. It's where it relates to your mentality and your space as a distraction at the end of the day. So you might love to really hang out with this person and whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, if you know what's good for you, you know what's good for you. You don't need to question that, or you don't need to double step or take a whatever. At the end of the day, you know what's good for you. So, and just don't doubt your intuition or your logic as well when it comes to those certain things. And sorry about my scratching, guys. I know it's a bit freaking probably irritating for some people to watch. But at the end of the day, I need to work on my scalp. I need to get some shizness for my scalp because it's kind of inflamed. It's pretty inflamed. That's why I've been doing these little twists in my hair, because I got really bad dandruff, psoriasis or whatever, and the twists seem to be helping my hair. But I've also got this part where I've been really itchy. This hasn't been put into twists yet, so that's why you see me scratching a lot. Just in case anyone was wondering, I mean, at the end of the day, I don't give a shit. But I also just don't want people to sit here what the fuck is that guy doing with his hair? Why the fuck is he scratching? Because I know some people would be sitting there thinking that. But yeah, we all good. So yeah, I'm really trying not to scratch. I'm just kind of rubbing the area. But yeah, when it comes to my dandruff, no. When it comes to being alone, yeah, it just seems like all situations point. And don't get me wrong, if you're already around people that you actually resonate with, that actually push you towards your goals, your passion, and your purpose, then being alone is probably not the best thing for you all the time. Because you guys have already got your little tight knit thing going on, and if a system works, then it may be the right thing to do, but not always. Don't always just assume that because something works, it's the right thing to do. But yeah, at the end of the day, only you know. It's your life, so you're the one who's be able to have the discernment to be able to discern between the two, based on the circumstances and the situations that you seem to be manifesting. Whether you manifest a whole bunch of distractions, negative circumstances, and so on and so forth, and also just whether you are on the same wavelength as the people around you, because the more you surround yourself with people on the same wavelength, you can build on that. But if you surround yourself with too many people of the different wavelength, then you can diminish what you've built sometimes. But it depends on how much. That's always look at it from a percentage scale of how much. Not oh, I hung out with this person, so therefore that's bad. No, it's just how often, limit. And you'll know as well, once you start to try, you develop a sense of moderation about it, because you know your limits, how much is going to manifest, how much circumstances, and how much you can actually just kind of still be around them and pay attention to the stuff they have got going on, without actually manifesting too many negative circumstances or too many negative energies. So this is about kind of finding that balance at the end of the day, and whatever the balance is for you might be different, but it's just looking at how your circumstances play out. Are they more stable or are they more rocky? Are they more passionate and purposeful and you have more direction, or are they all more based in like distraction and like kind of steering you off your path and making you feel like what happened, like why did I stop doing X, Y, and Z? Like those are all signs of distraction energies. So, being mindful of those and what kind of stuff, people, places, and things did you like associate with during those times in order for your like self to be able to see, oh, well, okay, maybe if I associate less with this thing, instead of 5 hours a day with this person, I might spend like 2 hours a day with this person. And if you notice that there's a difference just from you doing that one little like action different, then you already know. That's a sign that, you should probably be alone in that area. And then another vice versa, another person might be completely different. You spend a lot of time with that person and they play out more like a motivation, something that helps you to really push yourself and so on and so forth. At the end of the day, I feel like there's a balance and stuff between all of these two. Like you could be kind of somewhere in the middle too. You don't have to be to one side or the other. But, just as a template for you to be able to see what I'm talking about, this is kind of like to show you like how you can start to develop your own way of managing your time in like a spiritual way though. Like managing your time and kind of managing your esoteric currency in a spiritual way. So then you're able to be like spending your currency on the right kind of people, the right kind of places, the right kind of things that don't distract you or lead you off your purpose or your path. Because that's just like leads to you having to kind of play catch up and feeling like you like haven't done enough once you get to a certain date, or that you're not ready and blah blah blah, like all kinds of circumstances like that. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that one. I mean, really, if you didn't, that's okay too. So I don't know why I say hope. It just comes out like sometimes word vomit might be like a self-seeking validation kind of trait that I kept from when I was like lost in validation, which I still obviously am if I'm still saying that, probably in some way, shape, or form. So that's something I need to jump out of. But yeah, let me know if you guys have any add-ons or any objections to what I've been saying in this video. And if not, just let me know, whatever. I mean, you don't need to let me know anything at the end of the day. But yeah, I'm always open to the dialogues, loves. Enjoy your time wherever you are. Peace. I'm out.